Good afternoon. My name is Lexi Kavanaugh, and first, I would just like to thank everybody for joining me today at this commission and allowing me the opportunity to speak on the issues we're facing so that we can facilitate a collaborative solution that fits all our needs. As a legal aid attorney for the last 12 years, my experience in litigation over the constitutionality of prison conditions, I believe I can bring a unique perspective and be a voice for my clients. Today, there are three main issues I would like to address and find resolutions for: capacity expansion, intake management, control of releases. I think we can all begin on agreeing that we don't want to just release inmates into the community for a multitude of reasons because of a lack of resolutions from this meeting. My first choice in the capacity expansion is that there is no change. However, that is because I believe the lack of bed space will force shorter prison sentences, which is a systematic problem that is not being addressed. Long-term prison sentences are not only unjust, but a waste of taxpayers' money. If we can confirm that the services would be sufficiently increased, along with the bed space, making more funding available for community-based programs, then I would support the renovation expansion of an existing facility at 60% of a budget. Next, in regard to intake management, I think we need to consider what we would want in the end result of these inmates to be. If we punish them for a crime without considering what put them there in the position to commit that crime, allowing them to do the time and send them back out, we are just putting a Band-Aid on a problem till they offend again. This is what makes programs like intensive probation so important, because it allows inmates the freedom to make the right choices with guidance, attention, and support of their probation officer to help. We have to recognize that they're reorganizing their lives when they get out, and if we don't facilitate a program that helps contribute to the success of that through their probation officers, then we not only do a disservice to them, but the public as well, because we're implementing these inmates back into society that may not be ready. This goes back to why I would rather not build a brand new facility that would take up such a large portion of our budget, because we will not have the necessary funding to support these types of programs that ultimately and long term will reduce the number of inmates, because these programs help them avoid being put in the position where they feel like they need to reoffend or commit a new crime. As far as the governor's push for the restitution and community service centers, I think we need a realistic approach set in place that is attainable for someone in their position. If they can't find employment and we're requiring them to pay restitution along with all their other basic needs, we put them back on a path of negative behavior that results in crime. So I would like to discuss our options further for that so that we can all achieve the most successful outcomes with that program. In my experience, the long-standing narrative is that we were failing to consider individual circumstances when we were talking about prisoners. And this is most significant in structured sentencing, which fails to do this even when we are looking at prison capacity reduction. Lastly, the control of release issue. If you can't tell, my objective today has been to advocate for the conditions and treatments of inmates in this decision-making process so that we can all find realistic resolutions that work. I believe one problem we could correct to eliminate some of the crowding would be releasing prisoners who deserve to be released and not be held up by bureaucratic backlog. However, once they are released, programs need to be set in place for a successful transition. As you all know, unemployment among released inmates is a major cause of recidivism, which makes work programs imperative to prisoners getting out, especially if you're talking about restitution programs. Furthermore, parole should reward reduced likelihood of this rather than in-custody performance. These are not only come with significant positive effects but don't impact our budget. Decisions that don't impact our budget should be first and foremost on our list of discussions that we can agree upon. I would like to end on the importance of all of us coming to an agreement today, because if overcrowding continues, my colleague and I will be forced to file another suit to force the Department of Corrections to release prisoners if their constitutional rights are being violated. This is not the direction I intend we will go, but it's imperative that we keep in mind what's at stake today: the safety of our inmates and the trust and safety of the public.